Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about asking questions. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, how do you balance going to your manager or lead for questions? Problems, decisions, and as opposed to just solving them and telling them after. My assumption is that bringing too much of the questions and problems and decisions to your manager seems as though you don't know how to do your job and then you are less likely to be promoted. But you may also assume and try to always resolve things on your own, but then things go terribly wrong. Well, the way that I usually handle this, which is it's actually a reverse of a saying where there's a saying, it's better to apologize than ask for permission. And at least in from my interpretation of that, the truth in that is that if you do something and then somebody was unhappy about it, it's usually the case that you can apologize for it, but you still have had the opportunity of doing the thing that you wanted to do. But if you reverse the thing, you're inviting people to stop you from doing what you want before you even get the chance to try. And this is the exact scenario, I would say, where you want to actually reverse that. Now, let me explain that a little bit, because the thing is, what I try to pitch to software developers is that it is more expensive for you to make a false assumption about how code should, a specific feature should work, or how a piece of an implementation that you're making with some code or something like that. It's much, much more expensive to fix that problem in the end of the story. So if you find the that you made a mistake, like I like to call it, like you went down a rabbit hole and you went down really, really far, and it took a long time, and now you're like closing in on the deadline, and then in the code review someone goes and says, hey, but this is not what we were supposed to be doing, or you're not supposed to do it this way, and you have to redo it. Now you're up a creek without a paddle, because the thing that you will have to do in this situation usually, assuming now that the deadline is there or something like that, is that, oh, okay, cool, maybe I can just hack it together and then we can fix it later. You will have to compromise with the implementation that you want to make because you simply don't have the time to fix it. Now, so what I'm trying to pitch to software developers, and this is one of the very, very strange situations for a lot of what I call technical, like engine type of developers who really don't understand this. They really don't. And that is that this is a social problem. If you don't have soft skills, you will never get good at fixing this problem. And it really comes down to one part being humble enough to understand that you may make a mistake, you may not fully understand the problem that you are dealing with, and the other part is that you need to actually have the confidence to put yourself a little bit out there. So what I suggest is reverse the asking for permission, the thing, and ask for don't ask for permission. Let people partake in the plans that you are about to, the plans that you have. So what I pitch to people is, go and sit down, understand the problem that you're trying to solve, like do some experimental coding, figure things out. Don't invest too heavy into a given solution until you have a pretty rough idea of what you want to do, and then rubber duck that idea with your manager or with your tech leads or your team or something like that before you start going into the implementation. I usually do my check. This is one of the things that makes it's much easier when you know the people, like when you have a good feeling for, as I like to say, every single code review is different and every person is different. If there's 3 developers who review your code, you're going to have three different people giving feedback on 3 different things. And so what I usually do is that you start to see a pattern. I think most people who work as software developers in a team for an extended period of time will learn this. You sort of know what people care about, what they don't care about, what do you get comments on frequently, what don't you get comments on frequently. And so you sort of get a sixth sense of the stuff that your coworkers will have an opinion about. And this is that sixth sense that you need in this situation where you go, all right, so I'm going to make a heavy investment into a certain feature here. I'm going to make an assumption about how this should work. Do I feel confident that this is, yeah, it's pretty straightforward, I know exactly how this is going to work, or am I a little bit unsure about how to play this? Should I do implementation A, B, or should I go with option C? Like, which of these options would be the best fit? When you're in that state, when you're sort of exploring which path would be the best, just make a post roughly about what you're thinking of doing to your team's channel, or like mention it in like you passing when you're sitting with them or whatever, because what you're doing now is that you're inviting people to give you early feedback on your idea. And if you can, like, do a very short presentation type of thing where you just, pull up your screen and show I'm thinking this or that, like ask them to do like an over shoulder type of thing, like they look at the code and sort of, yeah, that seems reasonable, or no, that doesn't seriously, I would have done this, you have a conversation basically. That is going to save you, that one little ritual will probably save you more time and frustration that you can possibly imagine. Because as I said, it's just a way for you to sort of, take aim. If you're going to hit a target and your aim is slightly off, it's just someone coming in and saying, hey, yeah, you should you should aim a little bit higher or a little bit more to the left, and then you're probably going to be closer to the mark. And that is it's a habit that you have to grow within yourself. I did, and I still use exactly this technique to this day, even when it comes to things that are like, not necessarily strictly code related, but basically anything that I do, because it simply is it's a way for you to make people aware of what you're trying to do. And if they have thoughts, which sometimes they won't, but in many cases they will, they have the opportunity to give you feedback before it is too late. So what I want you to take away from this is that I suggest that you think about asking questions and things like that, or like finding that balance between thinking for yourself, doing your own stuff, versus asking for feedback in this way. Get to know the people in your group, get to know the different ways of like priorities that they have, or the things that they usually care about, and reverse asking for permission, or like reverse just doing things to asking for permission first. So you don't ask people to allow you to do things. You're simply saying, hey guys, I have these different options. I'm thinking I'm going to do this or that, and I think that this is a nice approach because of A, B, and C. You basically motivate why you think that is a good approach, and then you're thinking about, but at the same time you're thinking about this other thing that could also be really, really nice. Present that to the, like, really short. Doesn't have to be it could be just a few lines of text in your instant messaging system, or as I said, over the shoulder. You don't have to make a whole PowerPoint presentation about it. And then let's see what people have to say, because you're basically now, as I mentioned, allowing people to have an opinion about how to approach this problem. You're not asking them for to give you the solution. You're presenting your solution. If they have a better solution, they will give you a better solution, but at the very least they might give you strength and confidence in the approach that you are taking. And this is very valuable, because, as I said, if you wait until it's time for code review, you might get the exact same feedback, but now it's just too late to fix the problem. Have a great day.